Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing well. It's Lane here with MetaShackle. Today I just wanted to do a quick update in regard to the XRP Dragon Pattern, as things are going very well. And so far this pattern has played out pretty much exactly how I originally envisioned. Of course you'll never get every aspect of it perfectly correct, but the pattern remains valid, and we are now trading within the subwave E of the primary 5-wave impulse, moving towards the wave 4 termination, exactly as I've been talking about in my past couple of videos. So let's not waste any more time and let's get into the chart. For additional information and exclusive perks, do consider joining me and the rest of our community on Patreon. So taking a look at the XRP chart, I'm actually looking at the 1-hour chart right now, just to use for demonstration purposes. We moved up into this point here, touching the upper trend line, which marks the point of termination for the C wave of the ABC correction, as well as the D wave of the ABCDE descending triangle that we're currently trading in. This first wave came up just above the 702 Fibonacci and just below the 786, trading right here in between the two. Price then fell back as it started the E wave, which we're currently trading within, with the termination point of wave 1 resting right here. As you can see, it was a 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The wave 1 resting right at the very top of this bullish fair value gap. We then moved into the wave 2, which came up here and terminated exactly at the upper trend line as well, which was an ABC correction to the upside. We are now starting to form the wave 3 in continuation of this 5-wave impulse to the downside, constituting the E wave. Now this is generally the biggest and the most powerful wave to the downside within a 5-wave impulse, so this will definitely be one to watch. And something that we want to keep in mind is we want to watch this wave 2 termination, this upper trend line right here, as well as the wave D termination right here. If for any reason the price comes up and takes out this wave 2 termination, we could be in trouble. And by taking out the wave D termination right here, that could negate the entire pattern. So as far as this pattern moving forward, those are the 3 things that we want to watch. We are trading crypto, and in the crypto world, anything is possible. And you know as well as I do that you can get caught off guard at any time. Things can swing on a dime. Even the most perfect, most beautiful pattern that's laid out, everything going right according to the plan, can literally flip on a dime in crypto. So you always want to keep all of the possibilities in mind. But as it sits right now, the pattern is perfectly valid, going exactly the way I theorized. Generally, wave 2 will retrace anywhere from the 0.5 fib to the 786. As you can see right here, if we pull a fib level on here, it actually retraced just beyond the 786. There are quite a few obstacles here on the chart that we'll want to be watching out for, one of which is this bullish order block sitting on the hourly right here, centered about $2.94. We also have this bullish fair value gap right here, centered at about $2.92. Price is currently sitting above the 18-day moving average, which is the yellow line you see right here, above the 50% mark on the Gaussian channel, which you can see right here, as well as the 750-day moving average, the 375-day moving average, and the 200-day moving average, which is this blue line right here. The 200 is looking like it's going to cross the 375 here soon. And yes, 750 and 375 are quite odd. I do use some strange moving averages, but there is a reason why I use them. So all in all, looking at this 5-wave impulse to the downside, what we're going to want to see is a strong push to the downside for this wave 3. It should end up somewhere in this area here. This isn't exactly marked out. It's just to give you an idea, just a reference marker. We will want to see a wave 4 that varies from the wave 2. Maybe a little steeper, maybe less significant, but it should vary in some degree. Then in regard to the wave 5, I still believe the most likely candidate is to come down right here to this bullish fair value gap, and I have it marked out right here as the potential target area. This is the area I'll be looking for. That doesn't mean that it's guaranteed to hit that area, but it's just what I'm looking for. Because price doesn't have to come down here and sweep the C leg of this ABCDE descending triangle, but it very well could. It could bust right through this area, come right down here, sweep this, bounce off of this lower trend line right here, finishing out the E wave and the primary wave 4 termination point that you can see right here, before moving up into the 5th wave of the primary 5-wave impulse to the upside. Now, taking a look at the liquidation heat map, this is the 1 week. You can see that there is some liquidity resting up here above the current price, with the thickest bands of liquidity resting here at $3.04.5 and right here at about $3.05.5. Most of this liquidity represents stop losses or limit orders for people looking to short XRP. Now, when we look to the downside here, there is quite a few bands of liquidity to the downside that will likely draw price to them on this 5-wave impulse for the E wave. And you can see that we have one sitting here at 293. We have another thick band sitting at 290. This band right here resting at 284. And this band right here, which represents that yellow box that I just showed you on the XRP chart. And don't quote me on this, it's just a number that I'm looking at, but looking at the charts, I will be watching that $2.70.5 level, 277.5, which basically sits right about here. If the E wave is going to fall short, setting the wave 4 termination down here before moving into the wave 5 to the upside, I would expect it to be right in this area. That doesn't mean that it will be, it doesn't mean that it has to be, but this is what I'm looking for. But at the same time, it could blow right through this and come down and take out the wave C termination, bouncing off of the bottom trend line, which would take it right down in this area here. When we look at the liquidation map, this is the 30-day, you can see that there is quite a bit of short liquidation leverage sitting above current price, which is represented by this red arrow here in the middle, if you're not familiar with this chart, with the biggest band of the long liquidation leverage sitting right here in this area on this particular candle at $2.78.7. This area right here is that yellow box that I showed you on my XRP chart. The lower trend line of the descending wedge pattern would be more in this area right here. When we take a look at the hyper liquidation map, you can also see the short liquidation leverage being quite a bit less significant than the long liquidation leverage, with this area sitting right here representing the yellow box, and with this area right down here representing the lower trend line. But there is quite a bit of long liquidation leverage available for the market makers to loot and pillage before the wave 4 termination, moving into the wave 5 to the upside. I am shorting this E wave to the downside, with my last limit order being filled this morning. So I will be looking to ladder out of that position gradually around the areas of the concentrated liquidity on the heat map all the way down, with the largest being right in the area of the yellow box on my chart, and with a portion remaining for the potential for it to hit the lower trend line. That area between that yellow box and that lower trend line is where I will be looking to fill my limit buy orders so that I can ride the wave 5 up to what could potentially be a new all-time high. It's not guaranteed, but it could be. As I talked about in previous videos, the wave 5 could be truncated, could fall short of the all-time high, it could sweep the all-time high, and with enough volume and momentum could blow right through it and go up to the 1.618, which is resting right about that $4 level as we speak. So that's something I will be watching for. And if you are interested in trading crypto, I trade exclusively on Bitunix. And even if you're not a trader, you can swap your cryptos here with 0 fees as long as the crypto pairs are supported. So at the very least, don't waste your money paying high fees just to swap cryptos when you can come over to Bitunix and do it for 0 fee. It's definitely something to consider. You can use this QR code. I also have a link in the description. So I'll keep the updates rolling in as this chart pattern progresses. I'm also going to be doing a viewer's choice video here very soon. So if you haven't recommended 2 cryptos for the viewer's choice, go to my post tab, scroll down to that post, and then just put your two choices in the comments. I would really appreciate it. I'd like to get as many people participating as possible, as it will be ending today, and I will be putting them up for a vote. So you will be seeing the two votes coming up soon to determine which two cryptos will be highlighted in that video. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Good luck, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.